Wonderful.
Heidi.
Okay.
Heidi, are you starting us off?
I am. I'm starting us off.
Okay.
Hi, folks. Welcome to Mindfulness Steps Part 2, Week 1. And Julie is going to go into more of a description of what we're going to be doing today and this week. But I'm just going to start us off with setting the vibe, so to speak, of going inward and holding this space, this beautiful space together. Even though we're on Zoom, we're all together. We're holding this space. So I just like to encourage us for 1 minute to go inward, be with our breath, be with the silence of holding this space in honor of us all, of this precious moment together. So you can close your eyes if you'd like. If not, fuzzy gaze down or looking at something beautiful in your environment. And then just focusing on your breath for a minute. Yes, so we'll begin now and just going inward, allowing your breath to anchor you into this precious present moment. Just being. Thank you. Thank you. Bringing your awareness back to your room and just noticing how that 1 minute maybe changed the vibe, so to speak, of how you're feeling and acknowledging and honoring that you took the time today to come. Thank you. So, Julie, would you like to introduce the course?
Sure. So this is Mindful Steps 2, but Mindful Steps 1 is not a requisite. And I'm going to do a little outline, although I noticed that I didn't go backwards to my first slide. My apologies. But this is a course that will give you tools to go a little bit deeper than Mindful Steps 1. And if you haven't taken it, we're still going to talk about the basics, and we're still going to give basic meditation and yoga and instructions that will be valuable. And you can scale these to where you're at. And one of the most wonderful things that Heidi is actually going to teach us today, and it's a great foundation for a lot of things in life, is just doing an inward check. And having the skill to look at how our energy and body and mind are on a given day to see like what we're able to do. We might be able to push an envelope, but we don't want to like absolutely exhaust ourselves. That wouldn't be very helpful to anyone, and especially ourselves, right? So mindfulness is a practice that was started in the 70s. It was a secular adaptation of meditation and yoga techniques put together by John Kabat-Zinn, who had patients who, had heart conditions and were told, hey, go see a dietitian, go see an exercise, rehab, and cut out stress. They weren't given any tools. And so he created this program to help people manage the catastrophes of their lives. He called it Full Catastrophe Living. He had like a sort of book on the topic. And it's about a process of paying attention on purpose. And what's very important is in the meditation session, it's non-judgmental. We accept ourselves, but we still, apply a, training. And so getting that balance will be a really important part of this course. I'm going to skip our themes and talk about what we'll do in this particular session. We will review the basic instructions on mindfulness. And right now I'm going to give you an overview of the course and then also talk about, some of the things to consider about where you're at in general in life and on any particular day. So the next week, this is just the themes of each week, we will talk about cultivating joy and getting your groove back. So whether now or whether in the future you find yourself kind of underwater, how do you start to cultivate joy again? And, I'm inspired by my mom. She passed away 10 years ago, but one thing that everyone still talks about is how much joy she derived from just the simple things in life. And she chose it. She had a hard life. She had multiple sclerosis and a variety of difficulties. But when you kind of challenge your mind to look for the good, it can be really empowering. And then we will talk a little bit about unpleasant experiences, bringing those into the joy that we learn to cultivate in the second week and bringing them into a kind of contentment. Life is not going to be all, birthday cake and and sparkles. We are going to, have things happen, have food turn out that we don't really like the taste of. And so we're going to experiment a little bit about some of those processes, and I think it'll be quite fun. Then the following week is on communication. We are continuing from the topic we talked about in Mindful Steps 1 and reveling in our interconnectedness. When we see how connected we are with the natural world, with each other, it's really quite beautiful, and that human connection is something that we're wired from. And I'll talk about that with the science and talk about how sometimes we feel so small in the world, but our interconnectedness makes our ripples really much more powerful and beautiful than what we give ourselves credit for sometimes. And then with the strengths developed in these first 4 weeks, we're going to maybe push that envelope a little bit more with the mindful mishaps topic. We all make mistakes, and from a place of self-love and as well as caring about those we have connection with, we are maybe going to dare to look at some types of mistakes that we make in our life. This is scalable. So your mistake might be buying lettuce and having it go brown in the refrigerator drawer and kind of beating yourself up about it, right? How do you deal with those mistakes we have in life? It's inevitable. So why not have a few skills to make that not a devastating experience to our self-worth and instead a growth opportunity? And then finally, we'll talk about how to keep these practices going. We've all of us have a lot of experience in doing these practices, and our brain likes to get out of work sometimes. And so we have some strategies of how to combat some of the common things that happen in the challenges with our practice. So I tend to talk each week about a little bit of science, some of the classical studies, as well as some of the late breaking studies in the mindfulness field. And I co-authored a paper with Nicholas Van Dam. Here, there was actually a whole bunch of us from the mindfulness field. We all got together and we said, there's some false representation in the media of mindfulness research, as well as people who are scientists in the field kind of putting under the rug some of the challenges that can arise from meditation. How do you talk about both the benefits and the challenges of mindfulness practice? And he wrote another article after our article was published called "Meditation is Like Mountaineering, Approach It with Care." And, as being a mountaineering nation in West Virginia, I thought that was a really nice analogy. This is about the scalability of what we want to accomplish with the practices we're going to learn. Maybe you're just taking this, as a, part of the wellness points, and that's totally fine. Maybe, hopefully I'll get a little less stress. You might want to lean into the very relaxing practices, the practices that help create some self-love, help create a little bit of calm in the center of storms, things of that nature. Or you might set a little bit more ambitious goal that you want to root out some of the common things that start to make your life more difficult for yourself. And that sometimes that daring to look at your mishaps, that's where some of those approaches might be a little more challenging, but the payout is quite big. Or you might, really go all in and decide, hey, I'm going to go and do retreats and things of that. If you are interested in things like that, I recommend talking with us and making sure that, not everything out there is vetted, and we can have some advice about those topics. Now, when you're setting out on any mountaineering mission, that you're climbing Mount Everest or whatever. This is pictured here is Arthur Moore, the oldest person to have ever climbed Everest. He was 75 when he first climbed it, and he sought out a knowledgeable guide. And so the three of us, as mentioned, have a diversity of expertise and education. And so we really can be there for you. And I'll talk about myself as a neuroscientist. Each of us, when we come on, can talk about our qualifications. And then training. He trained for years before climbing, right? He didn't just say, oh, I just turned 75. I'm going to go climb Mount Everest. So this is this gradual approach that we might want to take, pushing the envelope a little farther each time in terms of what we're looking at in terms of, the things in our mental and emotional and physical daily. And self-knowledge is also really important. On any given day, he might have been like, you know what, my ankle's not so good today. I'm not going to climb. We might say, hey, I'm really dealing with a lot in life right now. Like anyone would would be able to look at my life right now and say, wow, you're really overwhelmed. Maybe your kids haven't been in school all month or something like that. It might help you look inward. We'll give you practices that can help you look inward, and not just for assessing what type of mindfulness, but how much you can take on in your work on a given day, or how much you want to help and volunteer for something. That's scalable. On some days, you might look and be like, I'm full of energy. I'm going to do all these extra things, and it's going to be really good and enriching to my life. And other days, maybe not so much. So that's an important skill. All these things require looking at the risk and benefit ratio. In science research, we're always having to justify a risk benefit ratio, especially if you're working with human participants, because the risk of not growth is a risk too. And there are some, things that you might face when you're sitting in meditation, a memory or a discomfort in your body that you might need to address, right? And those can be some of the risks of the practices we're teaching, but there's also risks in just going with the status quo. Things might be good and you're fine, but a wave of life is inevitably going to come, and like having some skills and learning those skills could be beneficial. Having this mountaineer mindfully mentality cultivates a sense of kind of bravery and confidence. Each time we push the envelope and gain a stronger back, but soft heart, keeping that soft heart, but having that strong back, helps us, to remain strong, not just for ourselves, which is very, that's going to be the first thing you work on, but others might benefit as well, that ripple effect of interconnectedness. And supporting each other is also really important. So if you know somebody else in this class, hit them up with an email or something, and maybe you could go through the practice together. It's always best in community, and we're always here for you too. So the first thing, if you notice there was a little memo to bring a little pen and paper, don't worry about it if you forgot today, but maybe writing down a little cheer for yourself. I'm kind of, making a little West Virginia specific cheer. Let's go Mountaineers, the Mountaineer mindfulness. Like, if, for example, you're kind of stuck and you want to do your practice and you want to try the yoga, or you want to try doing the mindfulness and you're just like, I can't get off, the doom scrolling, maybe having a little cheer could help. And Heidi once brought up something clever as well. You might just start moving a finger, and you start to move, and then you can kind of get yourself out of a funk, or get yourself out of being stuck by a news cycle, or, something that's kind of bringing you down. So, um, first, we're going to start with that very important 5-point check. And if you want to write down, and if you've developed a little cheer, you could also put that in the chat if you think about a little cheer over the course of the class. But you might also want to write down this 5-point check. BB me, breath, body, mind, emotions, energy. Pass that on to Heidi.
All right. Thank you so much, Julie. All right, friends, I'm going to spotlight mine and welcome. So I'm Heidi Sherwin, and I am a yoga and mindfulness teacher. And my focus as a teacher, and my philosophy is to welcome and accessible approaches to the practice. I love the full spectrum. I teach restorative, I teach meditation, breath work, and then I also teach more challenging classes from hot yoga, power yoga, and have a lot of fun in the full spectrum. And for me, that's a beautiful reminder when we get into this 5-point check that the wholeness of me is being met, that yoga doesn't have to just be one thing. Our meditation doesn't have to be one thing. And that's why this program is called Mindful Steps. It's different ways to step through the journey of your life and make it your own. Someday you're gonna love to move a lot. Some days you're under the weather and thank goodness you have a compassion meditation from Julie to remember. Or some days you just really wanna get into a body scan to help you relax, and you can remember the wonderful tools from Laurel as you self-talk and greet yourself with kindness. So with our 5-point check, and it really is about the wholeness of you. And you can do this really quick. You can also use it for a much longer, almost guided meditation for yourself. But as Julie just shared, the BB me, the be me, I love that, you have body, and we kind of go from kind of the more tangible aspects of you, right? The body, our meat, our muscles, I can see myself here. And then the other B is our breath. So still it's tangible, but it also kind of comes in a little softer. And then we check in with the mind. Where are our thoughts, thinking, self-talk? And then even more subtle, emotions. So how are we feeling? What's our mood meter? And there's no judgment when we look. It's like, I'm feeling a little blue today. The sky is gorgeous and sunny, but I'm feeling blue. Okay, all right. I notice that, I validate that. Or, wow, I love today. This is great. Snow on the beach, as our friend in Virginia has. Right? And then the last one even kind of gets more subtle, but can also feel quite explosive and grand at times, is how's your energy? Right? Is our energy like, oh, I can barely move, I feel like a sloth today? Or is it like, boom, 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 I'm getting things done, let's go Mountaineers, right? Bouncing around, but checking in on those levels. And then holistically, how do you care for those parts of you throughout the day? And what one's speaking to you more throughout the day? Or what one has been ignored for a while? Like, oh, I haven't eaten for a few hours. Maybe I need to drink some water and have a little snack. So if you're ready to go through a short 5-point check with me, take a moment to adjust yourself in your seat. And, a 5-point check, as I said, you can do it quite quickly. You could do it anywhere. You could be driving in the car at a red light and kind of give yourself a moment of mindfulness and go through your 5 points. So for here right now, as you settle into your seat, as Julie shared, in what way can you create a strong back? So sit just a little bit taller for yourself, nothing rigid. And then also, how can you create a softness around your heart without forcing things open? Can you just hold your heart up gently? Staying open across chest and belly, spine tall. Notice your feet down on the ground. And you're welcome to go through this 5-point check just with a soft gaze out in front of you. Or if it helps, go ahead and close your eyes. So this 5-point check, it's like just giving yourself a moment to say, hey, hi, how are you doing? I see you, I hear you, I know you. And you start by saying hello to the realm of the body. So for a moment, shift your attention to check in with sensation in the body. Muscles, the joints. How's your belly feeling today? How are your neck and shoulders? How is your body feeling as you are taking this seat? Hips in the chair, feet to the earth. We observe, we pay attention. We give space to be non-judgmental. And we just observe, like we're sitting in a park, wanting to take note of what's going on. And thank you, body, for that information. Step a little closer, a little more subtle within to your breath. Now, naturally, body and breath have a conversation together. What is your breath asking of you now? What do you feel? What do you notice? Maybe it's the way it sounds as you breathe in and out through the nose. Or perhaps you're a little congested today and you need to breathe out through the mouth. Do you notice any movement in the body from your inhale and exhale? Notice what you notice. 2 more breaths. Does it feel fluid, flowing? Or does it feel stuck a little bit? And that's okay. Just be present for your breath. Thank you, breath. And now go a layer more to the layer of the mind. Body, breath, mind. You've been using your mind all along, of course, to pay attention, to watch, to notice. But now really send your gaze there. Any words or thoughts that are streaming through. Or notice what's getting your attention when the mind starts to drift away from the right here, right now. We are creative beings. Our minds are so wonderfully creative. So it's so natural to be pulled in many directions. But for the next few breaths, just watch the mind. The generator of thoughts. And now a layer more. Thank you, mind. Allowing the mind now to shift attention to the emotion, to the mood. For there is also a very close connection to where our thoughts are and where our mood is. And no surprise, there's also a very close connection, for it's the wholeness of us, where our mood is and how we might feel physically in the body, or the rhythm, pace, texture of the breath. How cool to know that there's so many ways and spectrums this moment of you. Checking in with your mood meter, any emotion that is right there on the surface. I see you, I notice you. Thank you, emotion. And how body, breath, mind, emotion, all playing a part in the energy that you are here experiencing. No expectations. If you had to label, oh, my energy is here right now. High, low, medium, acknowledge, validate. When we notice our energy, we can learn to also calibrate it if we want to. Sometimes we want to feel low energy. If we're going to bed, we don't want that skyrocket high energy. So we want to maintain maybe a low, slow rhythm at nighttime. Other times, we may need to go into a meeting or meet with patients or work with others or a task at hand that needs more energy, but we're feeling quite sloth energy. And so we can choose ways to calibrate, to upregulate. Doing this 5-point check, this meter, these 5 points to help you navigate your day, navigate through the next moment. Listening to you, caring for you, honoring you. Be here 3 more breaths as you just take in this whole experience of the 5-point check. And now invite your awareness, your attention. If eyes are closed, start to blink them open. Attention to this now moment. Maybe drift your eyes back to the screen. Hello, welcome back. Mindful Steps 2, class 1. Feel the feet to the earth. And before we shift to Laurel, maybe take a moment for your body and energy to lift your arms high. And then let that be. Thank you, friends. Laurel?
Oh, yes. Thank you, Heidi. Thank you, Julie. It's so wonderful to work with you both. It's not work, it's joy. Pure joy. I'd like to encourage you now, if you do have paper and pen nearby, to maybe write down, if you want to now or later, or not at all, it's okay, to write down your heart's intentions for today or for this 6-week course. You know, what are you wanting to help yourself with? What tools would you like to glean from this that would be helpful for you? I am a therapist at Healthy Minds, used to be called Chestnut Ridge, it's Healthy Minds now. And I work with helping people to heal their wounds, to come back home to themselves, forgiving themselves and others more, especially themselves. And so some ideas for intentions might be, I want to be more present. I really want to be more present. I want to future trip less, go to the past less. I really want the power of now. I really want to have some tools and practice being more present. Or it might be, I want to be more mindful of my words and actions. You know, I'd like to be more aware of the power of my words and my actions. I want to become more aware. Or it could be, I want more self-care. I want to take care of myself. I want to honor myself. I want to water myself like a plant so that I don't burn out, I don't dry up. So whatever that is, if it's coming to you now, great. Later, setting intentions can be powerful, even on a daily basis. Like, I intend to have a more peaceful day today. I intend to come from my heart instead of coming from fear so much. You might notice that you've been more fearful. And what's that about? Talking to the fear. So setting an intention, I will make more peace with my fear today. So intentions are powerful because it's your caring, it's your energy, your thought energy, your heart energy, putting that out there. And it's powerful. So if you'd like to share anytime in the chat about what Julie's talking about, Heidi, myself, feel free, and we'll get to that at the end or now. But if you'd like to share now, how are you feeling, or what are you thinking about the course so far? Or if you have an intention, would you like to share it? We'd like to hear from you at any point during this hour. So, and we know quite a few of you. So if you'd like to talk verbally, like, hey, this is my intention, or this is my cheer, you know, like Donna might say, go, Donna, go. I think you had a cheer once, if I remember correctly. That was, if I'm remembering correctly. That's a big question. No. So Diana says, let's see what Diana says. Okay, let's go to the chat. This break is much needed. I'm juggling a lot right now. Thank you. Oh, I'm so grateful that we can help you. And you're juggling a lot right now. I hear that from many, many people. A lot on the plate. Like, no more on my plate, please. Let's see what someone else says here. Let's see, 2025 has started off stressful for me so far. So I'm here to help manage stress for sure. I need to make sure that the work-life balance stays in check. I hear you. I hear you. Yep. Yep. So that's what we're here for, to help you do that. And Donna says 5-point check every morning is helpful. Yes, it is, Donna. It's checking in with yourself, like talking to yourself, that little Donna inside. Hey, Donna, how's your energy? What do you need? How can I help? Beautiful. And then, yeah, and then Brina says, just being here is so important. Yeah. Heidi, Julie, anything else you'd like to add?
I kind of like that, just being here is so important. Like, take that everywhere I go. Just being here, right? If
Yeah.
I'm out to dinner with somebody, just being here is so important. If I'm, in a challenge, well, just being here is so important. It's something I need to be doing right now and figuring it out. And
Right.
that's mindfulness, like PhD right there. Like, just being here is so important. Thank
Yeah.
you for that. I'm going to
Yeah.
steal that one.
Yeah, me too. Me too. And someone else said, my intention for this year is working on more self-care and self-love. Yes, yes, more self-care and self-love. Tending to you first. We're not really conditioned to tend to ourselves first. It's usually about taking care of others, right?
Yeah.
But you've got to come
And
first.
there's another one, feeling more in control and in touch with that. That's similar to the intention I wrote down. There's been a lot of things vying for my attention, and being able to like really rein it in has been a goal of mine. I actually even did a little mini meditation retreat because I'm like, oh wow, I've gotten real scattered because there's just a lot going on. Oh, there's
Mhm.
another one. Oh, cheer. Is
Be happy,
just
be
be
bright,
like the
be the
honeybee.
best.
I like it.
Like it.
Be happy, be bright, be best.
Yeah, my goal this year is adding to my exercise program, working on inner self and confidence, and living in the moment, enjoying the moment. Yes, yes, yes. Looking for the wonder in the moment, like Julie was talking about with her mother, just looking in this moment for some little bits of awe, little bits of wonder, little bits of that is precious. Well, let's we'll come back to more in the chat, and we're going to move on now with Heidi doing some
Yes.
inner
Oh,
yoga. Oh,
were
go
we
ahead.
gonna do the little emoticon?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Go ahead.
We were
Yes. So go for it, Julie.
Oh, if you'd like, under the React, you can send with effect. There's a whole bunch of, if you did the 5-point check, you can choose any of the emojis and I'll show you what happens. So let's say today I felt a little bit sluggish or snailish. I could be lots of snails. So we know that a lot of you have your cameras turned off, but that we thought this might be a fun way of we've got some in the chat. You can make float up or put them in the little corner. Oh, we've got the bee. Yes, we've got the
Yeah.
bee. So you could put that up as your little emoji.
Yeah.
Ooh, a tiger. Oh, look at that. Pam the tiger.
We may or may not have spent about 5 minutes in a meeting together playing with different
Oh
emojis.
no, it
I
probably
mean,
didn't happen.
off the record, yeah.
We just thought it might be a nice way to see you guys a little bit.
Yeah, interact a little more. Oh, well, thank you, Julie. All right, friends. So, part of this 5-point check, right? Body, breath, mind, emotion, energy. We can attend to that through our mindfulness practices. And I'm here to share with you ways you can bring in movement and breath work. And when we move and breathe, just as when you did the 5-point check, we can't really, take the 5 pieces and just laser in on one. You can start with one, but then it's going to seep out, right? It's going to ripple out, right? So whatever pebble you place in the pond first, it will ripple out. And so with the movement of Mindful Steps 2, we call this inner yoga, if you heard Laurel say that. And that is because we want to, in this series, really start to dial in more to the quality of interoception. And interoception is related to, what am I feeling, in my emotions? It brings in a little more self-reflection and making things accessible for you, not shoulding on yourself. I should do this. I should do that. I should look like this in a shape. But what does it feel like for you? And in what way are you taking care of sensation in the body when we do movement and exercise and focusing on that kind of physical realm? And when we bring in more of the interoceptive qualities, and that is going to ripple out in the way we are more grand out in the world and how we have our exteroception, right? Where exteroception is like what is happening around me. We're more tethered to ourselves when we practice interoception, like what's going on around me. Those things I cannot control and those things that I can control. And then also our proprioception, the proprioception of this feeling a little more coordinated and balanced, and what is my body kind of doing and moving in the world. So if you are ready, I'm going to scooch back to my mat right behind me. We're going to be doing a half sun salute as our kind of main focused sequence for Mindful Steps 2. Each week we'll do the half sun salute, but then I'll also introduce some other movement practices as well. But the half sun salute is something that you can bring in on a daily basis as part of your Mindful Steps 2 kind of daily homework, so to say. I love the half sun salute because for me and my body and energy, kind of the whole spectrum of the 5 points, it gets my body moving, my breath flowing, my mind has to pay attention to the pose and the breath and how the shape feels. My mood starts to shift a little bit as I get those things going. So I do the thing to feel the thing in a way. And the energy, I can calibrate the energy. Sometimes I want a little more invigorated half sun salute. Sometimes I'll take it super slow and just hold each shape for a couple breaths. But for today, I'm going to introduce it to you in 2 ways. We'll do a few rounds from a chair, and then we'll do a few rounds from standing. So you can get a sense of how it feels in your body. And you might not be able to stand and do a half sun salute at times. You could be just in a chair at your desk, or it doesn't feel good to stand for one reason or another. And you're gonna see as I stand, I have my little ankle wrap on. I hurt my foot the other day. So walking around is okay and I can stand, but I'm also taking care of some of the grander movements I do. All right, friends. So from here, I'll turn my chair a little bit on an angle. The half sun salute starts in a mountain pose. Mountain could be standing, or as we're going to do to start off, we're going to take a seated mountain shape. So in mountain pose, coming back to Julie's phrase of strong back, soft heart, we start there. We root ourselves to the earth. Feel your feet to the ground. As you take your seat, hips to the chair, can you find a strong, tall, graceful spine? Holding your heart buoyant so you can be soft and allowing the breath to flow. So you set the body, set the shape, your seated mountain here. As I shared, the postures will move with the breath. So now turn your attention to the layer of your breath. Start to notice the turning waves of the inhale to your exhale. And if it feels okay today, just allow the breath rhythm, that cadence, kind of be in a smooth step back and forth. Maybe each part of the breath is not that you have to count, but it feels maybe about 3 or 4 counts long. Nothing to force, body breathing. And now invite your arms by your side. Let the hands drop by your side, shoulders soft, tall spine. Now we bring the mind in a little bit more. So now as you notice your inhale, take your breath in. Exhale, seated mountain. Next breath in, start to reach your arms high. So with the inhale, reach any amount. And now as you exhale, you lean forward. Exhale, arms fly out and rest to the side of your legs. Look to the floor. As you breathe in, hands come to the thighs and lift a little bit. Look forward, open across your chest. As you exhale, hands slide down side of the legs and you fold any amount, any degree. Now push through your feet. Notice an inhale and use that breath to rise high, arms high. And now exhale, arms by your side. That's the sequence. It's just a few postures and I'm moving forward and back. So you may notice this is great for kind of getting the circulation going. It does add a little bit of an inversion if you drop the head a little bit more. And when we stand, it will get a little more of that. And it's also wonderful for kind of opening up and soothing tension around your back, a little hug to the belly, and mobility around your shoulders and hips. All right, let's do 2 rounds, just flowing with the chair, and then we'll go to stand and do those same postures on our feet. So rest in your seated mountain, feet to the earth. Feel your hips to the chair, tall, strong spine. Soft heart, open to the breath. After your next exhale, inhale, arms sweep out and up. Exhale, breathe out, lean forward a little or a lot, arms rest to the side of your legs. Inhale, hands on top of the thighs, lift a little bit, look forward, soft, open heart. Exhale, release back into a gentle fold. Ground your feet. Inhale, a burst of energy to help you up, tall spine. Reach the arms. Breathe out, arms by your side. Stay with it, flow right back in. Inhale, arms circle high, any amount, close or wide. Exhale, sweep your arms down, arms by the side of the legs. Inhale, hands to the legs, open the heart, look forward. Exhale, release back to your fold. Press down through legs and feet, rise high. And arms by your side, exhale. Gather 2 breaths here in your mountain, getting a sense of the shift of energy and your focus. And now let's stand. We'll go through just a couple from standing and mountain pose. You're welcome to use the chair for support as you take your fold. So you could stand in front of your chair. And when you take that big dive into your fold, hands could rest onto the seat of the chair, easing into your fold. Or you can always step away and fold any amount towards the earth, towards your toes. All right, friends. From mountain, as you were seated, land into your feet. Now with legs long, draw the legs strong to support the length of your spine. Soft through your shoulders, soft through the breath. After your next exhale, we'll begin. On an inhale, tall mountain pose. Arms will sweep out and up any amount. As you exhale, now we'll bend the knees just a little bit and you start to dive, take your fold. Hands can rest along the side of the legs or again on the seat of your chair. Halfway up, hands come to the front of your thighs and you create an L shape with your body. Long spine, strong legs. Soften your knees a little bit, fold in again, hands to the side of your legs or towards the earth. Big inhale, push your feet down, strong legs help you up, tall spine, reach high. Arms by your side, exhale. Let's flow 2 more rounds. Easy does it. You may be with me with the breath or sync up as it's flowing for you. Tall mountain inhale. Exhale, soften the knees, hinge your hips, gently fold. Look to the ground or look to your feet. Halfway lift, hands on the thighs, create the L shape, strong legs, long spine. Exhale, fold, release, drop the top of your head. Push through your feet, inhale, stand tall, feel the strength in your legs. Arms by your side, exhale. Last round, friends. Flow with your breath, inhale, arms sweep out and up, tall mountain. Exhale, soft knees, hinge your hips, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up, hands to thighs, long spine, open heart. Exhale, release and fold, look to the earth. Press down through your legs and feet, rise high, tall mountain. Arms by your side, exhale. We pause here. Rest your arms, soft through your hands and fingers. Checking in with how you're feeling after those half sun salutations. Maybe it was something new for you to explore in the body. Sometimes it feels awkward to coordinate movement and breath, and that's okay. Try a little bit every day. Sometimes I just like to do the poses and not worry about syncing with breath. I just find the shape and my breath finds its way. One more breath here. Noticing your feet. Here you are in mountain. And we're going to go back to the chair to take a seat. And Laurel will guide us through a mindfulness practice of meditation. Thank you.
Thank you, Heidi. Thank you. Now we are ready to once again go inward. It's a common theme here because we're always so outward that going inward is a good balance. Good balance. So again, that kind of strong back, soft heart. You can close your eyes or a fuzzy gaze down or looking at something pleasant as I guide you through this mindfulness meditation. So let's return to the breath. Noticing your next inhalation through your nostrils. And is it warm or cool, the temperature? And on the exhalation, is it warm or cool? And allowing your breath to flow like the gentle waves on the ocean. Easy in, easy out. Nowhere to go, nothing to do, just being here present in this precious present moment. Maybe feeling the temperature of your room against your skin. Your clothing against your skin. And again, allowing your breath to just gently anchor you into this precious present moment. On your next exhalation, just allowing your shoulders and jaw to drop a little bit more. Bringing your awareness to your feet now. Wiggling your toes a bit, making that connection. And now, feeling your feet connected to the earth, almost as though you had roots like a tree, grounding you deeply into the earth for strength and stability. Maybe a feeling of oneness, connection to all. Now noticing your next thought, and just observing it with kindness without any judgment. Well, that no judgment of that's a good thought or bad thought. It just is. It's a thought. And after you've observed it, gently bringing your awareness back to your breath. And probably there's another thought. Our minds like to think that's a good thing. Just follow that thought. Notice if you get lost in it. And then each time coming back to your breath, beginning anew each time. And now bringing your awareness back to your room, your feet grounded to the earth, and opening your eyes if they're closed, and just noticing how you're feeling. And however you're feeling is okay. You may have one feeling or multiple, and it's all okay. There's no goal. There's no, oh, I must have my mind silent, or there's no goal. It just happens naturally. Once you've practiced meditation for a while, the mind, it's kind of ironic, the mind starts to sit like a puppy dog. It's that practice and training of, oh, okay, we're sitting here with the breath. We come back to the breath again. And some days, even though you've practiced mindfulness a lot, like me, you have days of ping pong brain or squirrel brain for 15 minutes. Thoughts come and go, come and go. And I just keep coming back to the breath. Like, oh, I'm lost in a thought. Come back to the breath. Oh, I'm lost in an emotion. Well, look at that. You observe it, without judgment, kindly, and come back to the breath. So we'll be talking more about that later. But let's, Julie, would you like to share some of the daily practices? I think you're on mute.
No, I should be not.
Yes.
So we encourage you with the homework to, develop a bit of a home practice, and that we had a little sequence. The last thing we're going to do as a little gratitude, which actually we could do right now. Let's make sure we have time for it, and then we can open it up for some questions and discussion. But we had set kind of an intention maybe for the day. We did the very, I think, easy to learn, and we'll have a video with the sequence, the yoga sequence, seated or standing. And then, that 5-point check, the yoga, the mindfulness meditation, and a gratitude snippet. So maybe we can consider now, well, what is it that we might be grateful for in our lives? We tend to really Our minds are always looking for the negative, and it's our brains trying to help us out. If there's a threat, we want to, simulate a whole bunch of different ways to best deal with that, right? Or a challenge, or, conversation we're going to have later today, or food we're going to cook, or, work project we need to complete, etc. But having a moment of gratitude of, oh, hey, I'm really grateful for something in my life can help us look for the positive, and that's going to boost our mood. So maybe having a moment now, maybe just 1 minute. Right, and you guys care to share, but you can share at the same time I'm talking, and then we can discuss that through the course of the week. Maybe refining, requested that maybe you think about your intention. What hill do you want to climb during this 8-week session? And it depends on where you're at, right? Um, maybe what you want to get out of this class, and then daily what you want to get out of a given day. And doing the 5-point check can be really helpful for a lot of things. So maybe you want to create something creative. We used to have these a day by day kind of, experiment, and you could try that if you wish, or you could just say, hey, I really resonated with that 5-point check. It would be so helpful to know what my energy is. Maybe you could spend a day where you're dedicated, set some reminders on your phone. Oh, I'm going to do a 5-point check after a difficult interaction with a patient or a family member or, a work colleague. Maybe I want to do a 5-point check after each meal or after doing my exercise or yoga. Checking, how you feel going into a stressful and coming out of a stressful encounter. Maybe you actually feel proud of yourself, right? Or maybe you feel really like you're berating yourself. Oh, well, that's information. You can treat that non-judgmentally. And then this warm-hearted intention, creating something, connecting with your inner goodness and, and what you're going to contribute to the world and what you're going to contribute to yourself in terms of your love and self-care. Connecting with that might be a theme for a day. Or maybe you really like that, I'm always berating myself. Why not cheer myself on instead? So whatever you connect with, you could try different ones or focus on just one. It just might be some ideas for you. And we'll be sending a Qualtrics survey. If you're getting the wellness points, we're going to ask that you fill out the Qualtrics survey each week to get those points for the insurance, just because it helps us know that you're not just, turning on the camera and leaving. It's just, even if you're just lightly participating in the course, just thinking about your life a little bit, I think will be really helpful. And then again, the gratitude snippets might be, oh wow, I'm really thinking a lot about my suffering, but I've got some things going for me too, and some people that have really come through, or some pets. I just had my kitty just cheer me up. So those are some ideas, and we hope to open it up now just for a couple minutes if anyone has any questions. We have their after poll here that you can fill out. Again, no names are attached to that. And if we do, the Qualtrics does ask for your name, but we can actually choose not to see that. And so I think only Anthony will just kind of say, oh, you've completed it, right? And those of us, Heidi, Laurel, and myself who read it, we don't look at the name. We just look at the comments, and it helps us gauge our future classes as well. So it's really helpful information to see, like, oh, they're not really getting anything out of this. Maybe I'm going to like change it for next year, and you'll help future generations of Mindful Steps peeps. Also, we're putting forward a ambassador program. So if you are interested in that, even if you're not doing wellness points, the participation and the homework are going to count to a future badge, which will give you a certificate you can put on your CV as being trained to hold space for mindfulness and do some of the simple yoga movements and lead them for small groups, and lead some of the mindfulness practices and compassion practices that we teach. So some of the business end of things this week. And
Wonderful. I think, Julie, I think you wrapped it up really well.
Yeah. Thank you, Julie.
Yeah.
anyone have any questions? We can stay on a couple minutes. It's 1 o'clock now, but we're here for you.